Hello and welcome back to the Tales of the Whoniverse podcast. Hello, the Earth Day is what 2024. We are midway through the very first year of Ncuti Gatwa as the Incredible Doctor, number 15. But it depends on your point of view, since the numbering got changed because of the previous showrunner. But that's a whole other topic for another time. Hello, welcome back. I'm Matt, and tonight's special episode is Dot and Bubble, written by Russell T. Davies, showrunner extraordinaire and writer for this episode. So we're going to reintroduce the house. Firstly, we're going to introduce. Oh yes, hello again, Aden. Welcome back.
Oh, hello again, Matt.
Yeah, it's only been 5 minutes. I'm just joking.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, and then we're going to reintroduce Uber Dan. Hello, Uber Dan.
Hello, I have another controversial opinion.
Oh no, what's
Yeah,
it this
what-
time?
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna have to keep leaning in to read these. Either that, or I'm going slightly blind.
Is it the pizza thing?
Oh,
Pineapple doesn't belong in pizza. I stand.
that's not controversial though. Like, I mean, I'm kind of just
Wow.
on it. I'm just on it. Like I've tried it. It's not bad. It's just something I wouldn't really choose to have a lot.
If I had the clip from SpongeBob, I'd play right now. Evil! Evil! I would have done that right now, but we don't have that clip. So, yeah. Anyway, welcoming back a member who hasn't been here for a while. We're welcoming back Keegan this evening.
Hello, everyone. It's very nice to be back.
Yes. Yes, welcome back. Was there a twist at the end? Not this week, but it might have been a big twist if you're, depending how you look at this story. Dot and Bubble has a lot to unpack. So we're going to do things differently again on the house tonight. So before we came on, Keegan mentioned you had a lot to unpack about Dot and Bubble. So we're going to let you go first about this episode.
I thought it was very different. It was, considering the main character was someone completely new to the show for the episode, I thought they did a great way of portraying the character in a way that wasn't likable. Some very questionable decisions, if I must say. And it's great how interesting she was from the beginning to how much I hated her at the end. But I thought just the whole where the story was going and the actual villains of the story weren't the monsters themselves. I don't know, I find it interesting how powerful the episode was and the message it was sending across. I'm not sure if anyone else would agree with that.
Yeah, I can agree.
Yes. As soon as you've replied, over to you, Dan. What's your thoughts on Dot and Bubble?
I thought right before it aired, I had this feeling that this might be the first episode that I'm probably not gonna love. I thought the whole social media, everyone is covered in a bubble basically, and by the end of it, it's just it completely surprised me. It worked, like not all the way, but it was really good.
Is there anyone that you liked the most out of the episode, or do you prefer Ricky September over the horror enders Lindy?
We need justice for Ricky.
Thinking about it,
Yeah.
I really like the slugs.
What?
Keegan, you sounded so shocked at that. What?
The first
slugs?
I ever felt something right about a killer AI.
Either Dan. I thought your favourite character would have been Gothic Paul.
I doesn't appear much, so.
Or the two crazy twins.
Yes, the Rotterdam twins. Oh, well, for people who don't know it, because obviously in America, Unleashed hasn't officially aired yet until they get onto Disney Plus. Slugs were officially named So these slugs, my apologies, I've got a bit sidetracked on that. Yes, the slugs are officially called the man-eaters. So if you're listening to that song by Nelly Furtado, you'll hear man-eater every single time you think of the slugs now after you hear it. But I'm going to pack off this episode next. So Aden, what was your thoughts on Dot and Bubble?
Yeah, because I remember before it aired, I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, I'm feeling this. Like, I saw people are saying, yeah, this is probably going to be like the Love and Monsters of like RTD2 or something like that. But I was genuinely surprised, like, because I remember like thinking to myself, like, at first I was like, okay, this is like sort of like Black Mirror vibes, like for anyone that's watched like Black Mirror, like
I
you might
agree.
agree with me this, yeah. But then like as it goes on, like you start to realize like like you're starting at first thinking like, okay, like so this is our main character, like, and then as you go along, it just you realize hold on, like there's things about it that are kind of like off with her,
Yeah.
like especially with like the whole thing about like working like 2 hours a day and like having like them all being like rich people, not yeah, and then also yeah, like when we get to the end, then you just realize, holy shit, like yeah, excuse my language there, but you're just like, oh my god, like this, like these people are fucking deplorable.
I agree. Like, it's so crazy of how the episode starts and you're like, okay, who is this woman? Who is she? What is she doing? And then in literally a space of 45 minutes, you get so much from her. Not in a good way, but I don't know, the acting as well, man. I think the script really delivered on some powerful moments in that episode.
Yeah, you feel at first you like her, you like Lindy. You think she's likable. She has all these friends. Then the minute the doctor appears, she's like, "Who are you? I don't like you." At first, you think, "Oh, she's just being rude." Then you get to the end, you realize, and then you realize just how stupid she is that she can't even walk without the bubble telling her where to go.
Oh god, yeah.
Fully.
It
And
was
it's
stupid,
just,
but it worked in a very smart way, telling you how spoiled they are.
yeah, and if it wasn't bad enough with how rude she was with the doctor and the aggression she was showing, she went and left someone for dead and then completely lied about how he died.
Yeah,
Like, she didn't even say, oh, he sacrificed himself. It was like, okay, he's gone to fight them to save other people. When she
Yeah,
literally just left him there to die after he got hit in the head with the dot.
yes. It's only, I think, before we get back onto it, I think for me, just my thoughts on the episode, I think personally, this is a great false advertising type of episode in the sense it's set up to be bubblegum, it's set up to be pop, it's set to be set up as sugary, like as I say, people thought it was going to be like Love and Monsters because you see like, oh, the slugs, they're comical, they're not going to really be adding much to the story. And in a way, they do and they don't. The most powerful thing about the slugs is they've got a big shopping list of eating them in alphabetical order. Now you just think, why? Why, as the doctor said? And at the end, it's become clear these man-eaters are properly designed on the specific list of targeting the rich, the wealthy, and the people with racist and backwards tendencies because they're hungry and they're going after them. Lindy Pepperbean, when did I feel for her the most in the story? When she was breaking down, when she was crying, when she was feeling like an absolute person, when she was talking to the doctor properly, when she was vulnerable. But even throughout the moments, it was disgusting though when she tried to call the police and dob him in because she kept thinking this is a huge conspiracy. This is all his fault. The slugs are all him. Nothing to do with Ruby. She thinks Ruby's all beautiful and perfect like the rest of her friends, and then suddenly the doctor appeared and it's just like throughout the story, when she kept saying he was patronising her, the only thing I could say on that one is when he said the eeny teeny weeny bits, like a little bit like a child, but he was just doing it because that's the doctor. He's a big kid with his two hearts. But no, Dot and Bubble is absolutely a wonderful story. What moment? Not what moment.
It's a story that basically makes you think it's going to be a parable about social media, but then it turns into a parable about racism at the end when you didn't actually catch it. And it's genius that way.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a whole episode about social media and...
Yeah, thank God it wasn't.
Yeah.
Also, I thought it was the AI that was basically leading them to the slugs by alphabetical order. It's just, I don't know, I guess AI thought it would be funny.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. My brother just came in. So what was I? Yes. So in regards of the story itself, I think this is beautifully shot. You wouldn't have thought this was the same episode directed by the same person from last week's 73 Yards. So to film this back to back, as confirmed was Unleashed, was a great use of the cinematography. I understand now why Russell said this episode was too expensive to produce, but I do wonder what that original idea would have been for this story had it had gone through with Eleven and Amy when he pitched it to Moffat. Um, was any supporting cast terrible? Absolutely not. I think everyone was used to the best of abilities. I think the message is clear, and Russell was correct. The ending would have you talking consistently about it for years to come. It's an episode designed to think about the future of technology, but also how prejudiced people still are, unfortunately. And I think the most heartbreaking moment is the one when it's finally realised at the end. Shooty's first time filming the Doctor post the giggle, and you just see him breaking down. Like, he's when he was a woman, he had a little bit of prejudices as Jodie. Back on the Witchfinders when they weren't taking her serious because of her being a Witchfinder general, and like, no, you've got to be a man and whatever. But that was nothing as monstrous, I feel, compared to like how this whole planet turned on Shooty when they finally seen him in person and realised he was different coloured. And that was the most sickening thing in this story. The people he helped didn't want to be saved because of him looking differently. But all in all, I think Dot and Bubble, I thought it was going to be like, season 24, like the stuff with Mel, or like filler stuff from like the newest series, where it's episodes like, oh, right, they're not bad, they're not great, but this story proved don't judge a book by its cover. But before I get on to anything else, does anyone have any negatives about the story? Keegan, do you have anything negative about it?
Apart from... Well, apart from the killing off a certain character, which was slowly becoming my favourite. His acting was 10 out of 10, by the way. Obviously, the racist side to the story, but I know it's a very powerful thing to have in the episode. Like, it's still a thing in today's society, so I understand. And it's hard watching it, but I think it came through at the end, especially with that powerful acting scene from Shooty. But personally, no. About the episode, no negatives. I thought it was greatly cast. I thought the lady who played Lindy, I think she did a great job at delivering the acting as well. Like, she was there, you were supposed to hate her, and I think that's what she was there for. Which I did
Yeah.
hate her at the end.
Yes, Callie Cook, who apparently are on Unleashed as well. Keegan said there had been nobody who led Doctor Who like this as Carey Mulligan, who in Blink, so she felt big shoes to fill. So I think she did the job perfectly as like Sally. It was Sally was it Sally Sparrow, wasn't it? Who became
Yeah.
Nightingale when she got married?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she gave a phenomenal performance.
She did,
Yeah,
and she
Callie Cook.
wasn't she wasn't a monster. We normally see the monsters of the episodes normally before. And considering the slugs were the monsters, we assumed they were the ones we were supposed to dislike, hate, etc. But I was shocked to see it was actually the main character of the episode that was the real villain of the story. I don't think we've had that for a long time.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's very symbolic, this story, that Callie Cook's character as Lindy will go down memorable, that the slugs, the man-eaters, weren't the villains of the story. They were just like the cleaners. They were cleaning up the plants because they were hungry. It's the people who were the villains. I think somebody put online up, they haven't seen issues like this since, what was it called? It's not Gridlock. It was another story of nuclear involving the Doctor, but where they had it was back on Midnight where those tendencies still happened. So as far back as Midnight, the future still needs a ways to go as well, and that's what Russell is good at, predicting the future.
Yeah, exactly. And it was wild that after all that she did in that episode, the Doctor still tried to save her and her friends. Even after that, and then the way she just smirked in his face and walked off, I thought, just wow. Like, for her to do that is one thing, but then the way it sunk in with the Doctor straight after and how gutted he was, and sad and angry. I don't know, it just gave off a big performance. And to say how well Millie did in that scene as well, how shocked Ruby looked and sad, and she tried to be there for him, but I don't think any words needed to be spoken in that scene to show how
Yeah.
sad it was.
Yeah, you can tell
I
that like, maybe Ruby has experiences before with her mom and grandmother. Her being like, I don't know, like maybe at some point when she was a little girl, like some people accused her mom and grandmother of, I don't know, kidnapping her. Could be. And I was like,
You never know. I just have on that note, if Dot and Bobble was another story, say like it was for 11 and Amy, or if it was for 14 and Donna, I think they would have allowed them to save them. But because of that prejudice stuff, I think that's why they laughed in his face. If it was Donna though, and she'd seen, I don't know, 15 like she did in The Giggle, and then something like that happened, unlike Ruby, I think she wouldn't have bowed down and she would have gone for them for that one, being nasty to the
Yeah.
Doctor. But I think these are just powerful. They say less is more, and silence was golden on this one. It was just incredible. Over to you, Dan. There. Do you have any negatives of Dot and Bubble? Sorry.
not too many. I love Shooty in this. I thought, I feel like if this was one of his early episodes, that because he's been very emotional, and I like that, but I feel like they should have saved some of his, the crying that he's mostly known for this episode. That way, we can really see the power of his tears. Like it doesn't. It's still good. It just. I feel like maybe if you saved it a bit up until now, but the fact that this was the first thing he made right after The Giggle, and last one was Millie's first, it is astounding how incredible they are. Two other things, maybe Susan Twist's cameo in this one wasn't as strong. It was memorable. I mean, I didn't even recognize her at first until Ruby pointed it out. But it definitely felt like this one was a bit forced. And my last thing, it's kind of a me thing. I don't know, maybe. I feel like there should be like a reveal on the boat of like a flag or a banner that resembles some fascistic neo-Nazi-esque thing. But I feel like that might have been too on the nose.
Yes. And obviously, because they're from a planet, that's been hinted that they are. I don't know if it was confirmed, but what I was watching underneath, Russell did say this is a very racist type episode. If they wanted to address that in the future, if they ever come back to these band of characters or whatever happened next, because obviously they're off to their doom and their death. If they find out about their ancestors they talked about, maybe they've got more of the prejudices, and you can find out more about their backstory that led them to Dot and Bubble. But no, I think the technology. It's great though that they're forewarning the AI could also gun for you because it hates you, and that was powerful as well. Like when Dot turned on Lindy because obviously they realised she was next on the menu. So so yes. Oh, Aden, do you have any negatives with Dot and Bubble, or are you good?
Yeah, I did have one thing, which was like not really anything major, but it was like kind of like something I wish could have been explained a bit more. Which is like, we learn like that like from like Ricky September, like going through the system files, like and seeing like the homeworlds or what's happening there, and then the slugs have killed everyone there. Like, because I'm pretty sure like it might be something I've missed. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure like what's the place called? Yeah,
Lindy.
No, not Lindy. Like the place they're in, like Fine Time.
That was
yeah,
only Fine Time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure. Like, isn't Fine Time like on a different planet from the home world? Or,
Yeah, I only realised it was a different planet when Ricky went and
Yeah.
seen the homeworld bubble. Yeah.
yeah, because my question was like how did they like were they on both planets or were like transported over to the home world or something? I'm not,
Maybe the AI
not sure.
or maybe the AI helped, or they're actually a lot smarter than they look.
No, I think the way it was said in the bunker bit, I think they were created because the AI learned to hate them because it heard them chat every single day. So I think the slugs were created to rebel against them.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah,
explain
'cause-
how they got a whole shopping list about their name in alphabetical order.
Yeah, yeah, because I was thinking that they were initially like created on the home world or something, and then somehow they got on to on the planet where Fine Time is. But
I think
yeah,
on
maybe it was
Fine
just me
Time,
just like misthinking about it.
No, I think what it was, if they've explained it, Big Finish offers, I still believe the episode. I think on Fine Time, if I'm wrong, I think Fine Time created like the slugs as well as the AI, but they probably were a bit more friendlier. But the system learned to hate them because of all the nattering, all the chattering, the social media usage. So this was their rebellion. So they destroyed the homeworld first, where the slugs were, and then come after them on Fine Time, so they were next on the menu. That's how I took it.
Yeah, and it is kind of interesting though, like that the AI learned to hate from those people like that were basically like absolutely horrible people. Like,
Yeah, and I think that's it. If nobody's checking the system, that's probably why it rebelled, and that's another danger that Russell was also flagging. That if you don't, if you're not kind and you're monstrous, then a system that looks after you could rebel on you. That's basically the point of Dot and Bubble.
yeah,
Even AI got annoyed by racist.
Yes. Now play the Avenue Q song, Daniel. Everyone's a little bit racist sometimes for that planet.
It's very. I think one thing that makes it clear that you first don't catch it is at the beginning with all the people that Lindy meets, and they're all white. And then one of the people that gets eaten, they have blue blood, like blue blood.
Yes, and I wondered if they were different, and that's why their bloods were all different. Because some of them were like blue or green, and it was a bit. Ugh.
Yeah. Which I'm surprised that they showed that was blood, because often the show doesn't show blood.
No, unlike Classic Who, where it sometimes happened with Red, New Who rarely does blood.
yeah, or in Davros's case, green in Revelation of the Daleks. Yeah, just like that.
Yes. So before we wrap up, because again, I think we've actually made good time on Dot and Bubble. Anybody got any exciting predictions for next week's episode? Because we'll be back for Rogue next week, the near penultimate part of the season. Because when we come back to it, it's a 2-part finale with Unit coming up.
I'm excited for Jonathan Groff.
Yes. Keegan's excited
Yeah.
for the Bridgerton aspect.
And
Of
bird
course.
people.
Yeah, and I'm partially excited, even if it's just for Groff, like Jonathan Groff's character's design, like because like it looks so Eighth Doctor, like in a way, like
Yes.
if you compare the two, it's like kind of similar, except with Groff it's more blue, and also instead of the leather gaiters, it's just like regular boots.
Could be
So
Captain.
I also after you're done, sorry about that.
It's all right. Could be Captain Jack. Could be a timeless child doctor. Who knows? Could be.
Or it could. I was going to say, or it could be, like a character who previously met the Eighth Doctor and thought, you know what, I like your outfit. I'm going to steal that.
Or it could be just a brand new character, like everyone else keeps saying. We'll see next week, because the character is actually the title of the story next week, Rogue.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to one very specific thing: the Doctor calling someone a cad.
You cad! Yes.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
But I think the other thing as well, when the Disney Plus trailer came, it kind of gave away there's going to be a little hologram of a certain predecessor for Ncuti Gatwa and David Tennant. So I wonder why they're bringing that back up before the finale, unless they're going to start telling Ruby about regeneration before she sees old Mad Auntie Mel and Rose Noble and Kate again.
I am sure it's gonna like show like all the previous versions of him, like in the 11th Hour, or other times where they showed holograms of the past Doctors.
Yeah, I don't think Ruby's going to be that pleased knowing that the Doctor's all different faces and not told him, because they seem like they have such a great trust and bond, and she's just like, oh yeah, I was over here with my granddaughter, and he's like, and you're like, what? Like, it's basically she's going to be questioning him quite a bit about this.
Yeah. I mean that was a bit mentioned in Devil's Court, like with the first Doctor and Susan, and then she's like, what?
And he's been open so far, so it wouldn't surprise me if he already told her.
Who knows? Because you never know what he said and what he hasn't. Because it had the last of the Time Lords and I've had a genocide, but which one? You've had 2 genocides on Gallifrey,
or three if you count the books.
Yes. So also, what I'm also excited for Rogue, it's our long-awaited Whoniverse return to Torchwood Susie Costello, but in a different form. Andrea Varma's playing with the main bird alien this time. Obviously, since she last played her, she's been on everything you see, like from things like Game of Thrones and Kenobi. So it was a big up for Russell to get her back, since she's more of a prolific actress since she left the Whoniverse last time, which is quite a fun thing. So I'm looking forward to her sparring off with Ncuti as well as Rogue.
I'm excited for all of it. Like, just where it's set and the whole mystery with Jonathan Groff's character. Like, I'm convinced he doesn't belong in that time period. At least.
Yeah. I know people are worried though about the episode runtime, because Keegan, it's apparently 44 minutes.
It's not a lot of time, but depending where it goes, I think they could bring Jonathan Groff's character back.
Yeah.
Oh, it depends as well how popular he is, because if he becomes a recurring character like Kate, because that's what the interesting thing I've seen this evening. People have said nearly every character this season is like set up for like comebacks of some of the recurring characters. But definitely not. We're not seeing Lindy Pepper being back now, but that village.
They're all probably dead by now.
Yeah, they probably have had a slug. My favourite joke about the boat is one of the slugs waiting for them at the end of the line just to finish their dinner.
The minute they went out, they got eaten, and we never have to see them again.
Yes,
That's a very happy ending right there.
No, to be even funnier, if they appeared on jetpacks, the slugs, and like, oh, we've missed them off the list. Time to eat nom.
Also, one thing I'm very excited for Rogue. It's that it's our first new writers for the show in a very long while, and the writers, of course, having worked on Loki, and that is what excites me most.
Yes, because if people do remember, Russell had a bit of a difference with the writers because of the bi-representation on Rogue, but they seem to have patched up, make amends, and they're here for the next episode, which is fantastic. And it's the first time 2 females have written for Doctor Who.
And the first time that a writing pair since, I don't know, Time and Ronnie?
Yes, Pip and Jane Baker. Yes, since the 80s with Mel. So again, there's a load of firsts, and I'm looking forward to the journey where it's going. I think when we get to our retrospective at the end of the season, I think once the episodes are out and everyone starts doing rewatches, opinions will change, things will form, and choices will definitely made. If you know what I mean. But
yeah.
But no, I've been enjoying this run. I think Dot and Bubble will be forever an episode that joins up the classic Who stuff where you never judge things or by the name of the title. It literally looked like it was going to be one of those episodes where you thought, all right, we know where this is going, and then it completely 180'd. Absolutely loved it for that. And tonight, as I said, I scored it a 10 over on the Bird, formerly known as Twitter, because obviously it's wonderful, dark performances. It's actually probably the darkest episode of the season so far. If anyone's got any ratings for tonight's episode before we wrap up, there's our welcome. There's the first. So over to you, Aden. What would you rate the episode?
I'm trying to decide because I think it's probably like an 8 or 9 out of 10 for me.
Yes. Great choice. Keegan, what would you rate the episode? I know you've already done it on Twitter, but for the people who've not got access to the Bird or that, or whatever we're calling it, because I'm not calling it that dirty name people call it, X or whatever they call it. What would you rate the episode number?
I give it an 8. It's close to a 9. Like, I've not come across an episode yet that's 10 out of 10 for me, because I'm holding that out for next week, hopefully. But I don't think the episode was perfect, but it was very strong, and I thought it really delivered on a lot of the stuff I was looking for. The acting, CGI, etc. Just a solid story and very powerful.
Yes. And as for you, Dan, what do you say about it?
So far, right now, about a 7.4. It's good, but I feel like it could have been a little better, but it was still fun. And thus far, my second lowest rated of the RTD2 era.
What?
Which is, but it's fair enough. That's your opinion. But hey, I will say this is one of the best uses of music for Doctor Who. I think the most powerful was Murray doing the variation of what was told of 15's theme during the whole scene, where he's screeching and having his breakdown about what was going. I think the music's been one of the strongest for a while, and this sounds like Murray's back on top form as well.
Now, where's
I
the
agree.
Series 10 soundtrack, Murray?
Release the season 10 soundtrack before you release series 1.
Are there rights
No.
issues or something?
He's saving it for the 100th anniversary.
No, apparently he thought he'd signed off on it when he left, so that's what he said when he came back to Doctor Who. He thought he signed off on the soundtrack. He didn't realise it never got released.
Yeah, so we'll be getting it in time for the 100th anniversary. So
Yeah,
plenty of time.
Wait, so he thought
yeah.
he signed it, but he didn't sign it.
Oh, he forgot to, apparently. He thought he already did.
And he can't do that now?
I don't know. I'm not Murray's agent. I'm not on the phone to him every night to tell him because you got to sign it.
Yeah, sounds like choices were definitely made that day.
God damn it, man.
I've never even met the man, but no. But thank you again for joining for Dot and Bubble. I've been Matt, and thank you for joining us again, Tales of the Whoniverse. So we're going to go around and say goodnight to everyone. So firstly, Aden, good night from you.
Yeah, good night, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed, and don't forget to click below subscribe to the official Tales of the Whoniverse YouTube channel. And one more thing, because I know Keegan will definitely love this. Yes, Queen, slay.
Every time that makes me laugh as much as when you do the Omega. What?
Yeah, it's just like when he'll probably like when Uberdon said it, Dawn Bubble was like a 7.2, was it, Dan? Was it you said? Yeah, he's just like, what?
To clear 0.4.
Okay, good night. Good night from you next, Uberdon. Good night.
May the force be with you.
Wrong franchise, but well done.
Yes. And lastly, good night from Keegan.
Good night, everyone, and I will see you next week for Rogue.
Yes. Don't forget we'll be back for Rogue. And then we will be starting to wrap up with the penultimate finale of the Empire. No, sorry, that's the finale. We'll be wrapping up with the Legend of Ruby Sunday and Empire of Death. And then we'll be doing our retrospective of the whole series, where we look back at the episodes if opinions have changed, if people are going to rewatch stuff, and look at how Shooty's been as a whole. You can also include the Church on Ruby Road and the Giggle if you want to, because it is a retrospective of his time as the Doctor. Then we are taking a quick break for a week to get ready for the brand new launching of Tales of the Whoniverse Presents, where we will deal with anything from Star Wars to Star Trek to things like Chucky and anything across any. If we've not reviewed it, please let us know. And we'll do it. We'll even do Bridgerton. We'll do Heart Stuff, and we'll do anything until Doctor Who returns up in Christmas. But thank you, I've been Matt, and good night from me, and good night everyone. Stay safe. Don't forget, choices were definitely made. And.
Hello, this is Kerries, and you've been listening to the Tales of the Whoniverse podcast.